This morning we have two very special guests, a TV camera, and because it's on, our governor, Mr. Ron DeSantis. Oops, I shouldn't have said Mr., as it is illegally teaching you impressionable children about gender. Ugh, oops again. I'm not even allowed to use that word. Because not talking about something means it doesn't exist. Children. Remember that years from now, when you meet someone you'll come to know as your therapist. Okay, Mr. DeSantis, to throw the kids off, I'll just say that forbidden word in pig Latin. Endergay. Oh, dear, that ends with gay. Another thing I'm forbidden to say. Goodness, who knew homophobia would be such a minefield? Children, today we will be learning about American history. Well, the flattering parts. Oh no, just realized that history starts with the traditionally male gender pronoun for something that applies to both males and females, although with decidedly less emphasis on the latter. Guess that word provokes thoughts about gender and is now illegal too. Okay, let's play it safe and call it what it is. Welcome to a class on American white supremacist propaganda. Nothing illegal about that in Florida, God knows. Class? The governor is here to ensure that we show party purity by banning even more books than Miss Perkins' class next door. Yes! Governor, unlike the suspiciously open-minded, unmarried Miss Perkins, I don't just ban books, I burn them. Have you tried to get soot out of a custom-tailored suit? No, of course you haven't. On the bright side, I'm finding that with all the books we've banned, I can do an entire semester of children's story time in one afternoon. Just this morning, I incinerated one of my students' first edition of The Wizard of Oz. Yes, Dorothy's visit to un-American Oz starts off so promising with her killing the first non-Christian she encounters. But it encourages young ladies to lure strange men and bi-curious lions to join her arm in arm, to skip through places her parents can't find. That is, until she comes upon a poppy field where they can all get high on opium and sleep together until they are covered with snow. Sounds alarmingly like the GOP cloak closet at the Capitol, according to Madison Cawthorn. At least when Dorothy was first introduced to a pack of short men, her first instinct wasn't to move in with them, unlike that harlot Snow White. And don't get me started on a prince who kisses a stranger in a coffin he thinks is dead. There will be no necrophilia taught in this class, Miss Perkins. Mother Goose. The very title is probably illegal in Florida. The word mother teaches my students about gender, but person goose doesn't work because, well, she's not one. And whatever shenanigans this loose goose engaged in to become a mother leads to forbidden questions about sex. Banned. Pied Piper, are you kidding me? A strange man in a fancy hat lures children out of town. All that is missing is an old white van with free candy scrawled on the side. Hashtag Pizzagate. And Q said it's a well-known fact that the pipe he was piping was a crack pipe. Ban. Pinocchio, a lonely old man creates a young boy to play with a nose shaped like a pole that grows when he's naughty? Sounds like a fantasy straight out of the Vatican. Ban. 1984. A not-so-thinly veiled attack on your current campaign to be president, Mr. Governor DeSantis. The grapes of wrath, more socialist, we're poor propaganda. If it takes a dust bowl to make you realize that you made a mistake living in Oklahoma, then you certainly don't deserve our time or sympathy. The Great Gatsby? If my students want to read about a book about drunk driving, they can wait for a memoir from Janine Pirro. The Handmaid's Tale? When it comes to your administration, Governor, this book has far too many spoilers. Burned. So, I have diligently removed all books dealing with sex or gender identity out of an abundance of caution. I've also added thick black bars over all drawings of the Founding Fathers, their fondness for powdered wigs, silk stockings, and higher than half-an-inch heels risks underage ruminations about the fluidity of gender. And the same goes for Jesus with his suspiciously fabulous gowns and jaunty pashimas. But, Governor DeSantis, this brings me to a shockingly pornographic book mistakenly approved by the state of Florida for use in teaching impressionable children. Dare I even read its filth to you? Class, place your little hands over your little ears. Yet she became more and more promiscuous as she recalled the days of her youth when she was a hooer in Egypt. There she lusted after her lovers, whose penises were as enormous as donkeys and whose ejaculations were like that of horses. She longed for the lewdness of her youth when in Egypt her bosom was caressed and her young breasts were fondled. Breasts fondled and bosom caressed? Clearly, the Lord has neither a censor nor an editor, but such Bible porn belongs on HBO, not in a classroom bookshelf, and it goes to prove that if the Bible hadn't been written by the Lord, you'd be fighting to keep it out of public libraries, not in to public schools, Mr. DeSantis. Glory.